in studio, we are joined by iFundi CEO Stephen Lopa and iFundi content developer Cynthia Gianni to share more on the role that iFundi plays in youth unemployment and how their work integrated learning bridges the gap between education and unemployment. So I'm going to start with Stephen. Stephen, how would you describe iFundi? What is it all about?
In one word, I would say we are a company who helps people become future ready. And in doing so, we are not only about teaching people theory, academics, but we at the same time place our students into actual jobs so that they will get work experience while they study. So the theory and the learning on the job talk to each other, which at the end should lead to gainful employment, long-term employment. So the starting point for iFundi has always been no job, no training. We start with the job in mind.
So how is this different from other higher institutions of learning? Because we're used to colleges, we're used to universities, but when we come to iFundi, how different is it from universities? And maybe perhaps you can also tell us about the entry requirements for one to be part of the program.
The entry requirement at large is obviously metric, and the reason for that is most employers are looking for matriculants. What I think makes us different is the starting point, that we are looking for employment, not just for graduation. And secondly, that means in today's age where there's a rapid transformation driven by the new technology, we have placing great emphasis on qualifications that have an IT background. So when people and companies transform, our students are ready for those changes. The next big change, as I said from the beginning, is that we integrate the workplace experience into our curriculum. I think normally the approach is you may get an internship at the end of your studies or none at all, and then it's up to the individual to struggle to find their own job. That's why we have about a third of all graduates are unemployed. So we're turning that around. We start with employment, and then we train according to the demand, the needs set by the employers.
So Cynthia, I'm going to come to you now. Let's talk about the beneficiary of iFundi. What do they get?
All right, firstly, I would like to congratulate all our matriculants. I think they've done very, very well. If you're a beneficiary at iFundi, I think most of what Stefan has already alluded to is that you're going to get experience, which is one thing that most of our graduates need. At the end of the day, if you want to be employable, you need to have experience, and iFundi offers you that. You're going to get the right skill set, and I think that's a conversation that is had widely, is that you need to have the right qualifications, and our programs actually offer that. We have the skill sets, the right qualifications that actually lead you to be employable at the end of the day. And also you are going to earn while you are actually working, because we place you with actual job prospects. We have a wide range, we have contracts, we have a wide range of employers that we have spoken to, and we are ready. They're ready to actually take on our beneficiaries. So if you come and you study at iFundi, like I said, we've got one promise, which is we are going to place you. You are going to earn while you are working, and you're actually going to get the right skill set.
So what is the process? I mean, let's say I pass my matric right now. I don't want to go through the traditional route of going to a university. I want to come to iFundi. Where do I go? How do I get into the program?
Well, first of all, go onto our website, get yourself an application form on our website. Our representatives are actually ready to take on any calls and answer any questions. So if you go on to iFundi, www.ifundi.co.za, our application process is there, and it's quite simple to actually apply for iFundi. Also, very affordable, which is one thing that we have as a competitive advantage when it comes to other institutions. We make sure that you can actually afford to come and study with us. Our registration process is not stringent, it's not lengthy, it's quite simple. You go onto our website, you get your application form, and the registration fee is also quite it's low as compared to other institutions out there.
Stephen, I'm going to come back to you. You know, these institutions, they offer qualifications and training for students. So when they graduate, they are ready to work. But then there's been an issue in the private sector to say these people know their job, but they don't know how to write reports, they don't know how to make presentations and all that. Does iFundi then now assist these learners or students with such things that are happening in the corporate world?
Oh, absolutely. Not at the end. Often, if you come from a traditional institution, you're not even getting the preparation on how to conduct interviews and all of that. But we start with that. We start with placing you right from the beginning. And I think we always say this is not about certificates. This is about skills that make you employable. You also get the certificate. You obviously need that. You want that. But the certificate is not enough. It's a starting point. But what really matters is you get a job or not. I think that's what every young person, every parent is asking. If my child goes to school, what next? What's their future? And we say that's where we start. That's why we say your success, our promise.
So what are, I'm going to come back to you, Cynthia. So what are some of the stakeholders that you're working with to ensure that, people that come through your program get the best quality education?
For starters, I'm going to speak about Capitec, because we have actually partnered with Capitec, not for employability as such, but for study loans. So if you're actually looking for a study loan, you can actually go through Capitec. They have got a very reasonable repayment plan across 7 years, where you can go, and if you apply with us, you can go and get you can get a study loan from them. However, and I'm sure Stefan can actually jump in there in terms of the stakeholders that we've actually partnered with, where we actually place these learners based on the qualification skill set that you have chosen?
We have been working with the private sector employers for the last 20 years. So we have a wide network of plus minus 200 employers. I always say it all starts with the employer. Okay? If the employer are willing to open the doors for our students, I think the problem is really solved. So employer network is the number one thing. The second thing is iFundi, as the word says, is an expert. And we therefore make an effort that our teachers are practitioners from industries. So these are people who are still employed, people who are still working, particularly in the IT sector. It's important that they're on the leading edge, that they continuously evolve just as the industry evolves. So one thing is the employer, the second thing is the teachers, the practitioners that are most important to us.
Stephen, as you've mentioned, over the past 20 years, you've been with this program, and I just heard you now highlighting or pinpointing the fact that IT is one of the things that you focus on. Perhaps just share more of the programs that you offer, because I believe that your program is there to answer or solve problems or find solutions to problems that are existing now, and most of them require IT. Perhaps just share more.
Well, at the moment, we're offering in total over 30 qualifications, but for individual students, we're only offering 7. 2 of them are in IT, the entry level, if you have never done any IT work, so getting introduced to programming. Then the next one is one level up. It is programming, but we specialize here in the digital skills, the leading edge of where the 4th industrial revolution is taking us, such like artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, data analytics, cybersecurity, cloud computing. These are all programs that will position you well, because they're in demand and there's a serious shortage out there for such skills, and obviously great learning potential. So the first area, I would say, is IT. The second area is management. Management for also people who are already employed, who want to take their next step forward in their career. So we have management qualification. Similarly, a speciality, whatever you do in organization today is projects. So we're offering project management. And then we have various customer-facing solutions, such as the real estate sector. If you want to be working in the real estate sector, you need to have a qualification. Insurance, the same thing goes there, short-term and long-term, and call centers. Call centers have launched many great careers. It is not a glamorous job, but it teaches you essential skills from where you can then move up into different areas of companies. So these 7 qualifications is what we're offering.
And if I can just jump in there, imagine now joining all of these, the sectors that Stefan has just mentioned, but not only that, being coached in the specific sector, getting mentoring in the specific sector, and also being in the job world, like literally studying while you are at work and earning at the same time. And that is what iFundi is actually offering.
Cynthia, this looks like a very great initiative. You deal with content writing. So I want to understand what are the difficulties in getting the message out there to people? Because there's such a great project, but I don't think a lot of people know about iFundi. The success rate of getting the message across. How is that going?
I think for the longest time, iFundi has been offering what we call learnerships, and then we actually saw the call to action. We actually saw the need, because learnerships are also quite saturated. We see that there's a lot of people, that there's a demand in terms of wanting to go to these institutions, but there's a cutoff. Not everybody can actually go to all of these institutions. Also, money. A lot of people don't have the necessary funds to be able to go further and study. So we then took what we are great at and said, let's offer it to the public. And therefore now you can come on to be on our programs and have the same experience or similar experience as to what you would have if you're on a learnership. Only this time you're going to, just like if you're on a learnership, you're going to have your necessary job skills, you're going to have the actual qualification and so on. So that is where the actual shift is, and this is why our iFundi is offering what it's offering right now.
So Stefan, challenges are all over. I believe you also have challenges. So, but now, let's look at beneficiaries who are under the program. What are some of the challenges they face, and where does iFundi comes in to assist them so that at the end of the day they get their qualification and also do well in where they are working?
I just looked at the number this morning. It's about 40% of matriculant have a bachelor exempt, so they can go and study at university. But universities have a very limited capacity. So even though you may have good grades, they may not be able to absorb you. So here at iFundi, we have extra capacity to absorb such brilliant people. I would say ability to study, access to study is the first challenge. Linked to that is access to funding. There are many great people and many great students at universities have dropped out due to financial problems. So as we have discussed from the beginning, you will earn while you learn at iFundi. So that will reduce the pressure on your parents. It will give you access to money, obviously, and having their partnership with Capitec will also help you to get funding. I think these are the 2 biggest problems. And the third one, as we have discussed several times, when you go for an interview, people say, show me your CV. What experience you have? No, we are looking for people with 5 years of experience. And if you come out of university, how are you going to show that? Whereas we're starting differently. We talk to the employers first. We ask them, what are sort of the skills you will need tomorrow? And how can we help you as an employer to build a talent pool, the future leaders of your company? I always say a professor starts in primary school. Companies always cry, now we can't find skilled people. But that is if you are only looking to pick ready-made fruit from the tree. But it takes time for a fruit to grow. So therefore, companies need to start concentrating, investing in early talent. And that's where we come in. Once you're in a company at iFundi, we then help you to get promoted, to take the next step forward in your career. So iFundi is there also to reorient your career. So for example, the 4th industrial revolution is threatening about 50% of jobs, as they say. Don't wait till you're in trouble. Be proactive and reorient your career. We call that upskilling. So iFundi also is very much in that space. And again, technology skills, management skills are helping you to move forward into better positions.
I'm sure you've heard about NSFAS, the issues, the scandals, and I'm sure some learners or some matriculants are now vying for such programs as iFundi. Now, let's just talk numbers. Let's be specific. If I say I want to join iFundi, how much are you going to give me? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but we want numbers now to say how much do you pay for tuition? Just please be specific now.
Roughly speaking. 120 rands just to put in the application. That means to get you into the loop. 1,500 rands once you're approved for our registration. Roughly speaking, a qualification will be plus minus 35,000 a year, which comes down to about 2,800 rands a monthly installment. Earning on the job, the minimum wage is 3,500, so definitely the stipend that you should get in an allowance you should get mustn't be below that. I think today it is more like 4 or 5. And that will cover, I would say, your transportation cost to go to work. It will cover some living expenditures. And so that's great. Normally when you go to school, you only spend, okay, your parents are crying, you are crying, everyone is crying. At least this takes a bit of the pain away. And for me, the most important thing is you build confidence. When you are at work, you become meaningful, you see that you're adding value. What more do you want to be confident? So not only do you gain skills, not only do you get a job, but most importantly, I do believe you gain confidence. With that, the sky's the limit.
And then lastly from you, Cynthia, I need you to, speak to, potential or maybe students who want to go for the traditional route of universities, who don't really understand how this program works, just to, encourage them to also go for this route wherein they also get skilled while they're there. I mean, they also get skills from work while they're still learning. What can you say to them in closing?
I think the first thing, choose the right qualification. That is the first thing. I think a lot of our prospects choose the wrong qualification. You actually then wonder why we have a lot of people sitting with their degrees, sitting with their qualifications, and they can't be employable. The first thing, choose the right qualification. The good thing at iFundi is that we offer the right qualifications for you to be able to get a job at the end of the day. The second one is you need to go out there and get employed, become employable. For you to be able to be to get a job at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you have the right skill set to become employable. And like we already alluded, iFundi has all of that offering. I don't know if we have actually mentioned this before, but we also have a blended solution. I know a lot of problems come from people not being able to attend class, and our blended solution means you can actually attend class online. You don't necessarily have to be in class physically to be able to learn. You can actually attend our sessions online as well. But I think to wrap it up, I could say that the first thing, choose the right skill set. Make sure that the qualification that you're going to choose post-matric is one that's going to be able to get you to get a job at the end of the day.
We have an online test, a very simple test that gives you direction of where your interests and talents are and which qualification will be suitable. We have online career guides that describe the various professions. So that when you read it up, you can say, oh, that talks to me, and I don't like this, okay? And we also offer you free career counseling. So if you are a bit confused, don't quite know what direction to take, we are there for you to advise you.
Lastly, to wrap it up again for the last time, details, where do we go? The website, phone numbers, socials?
Website, www.ifundi.co.za. All the programs are there, and you can we have people on standby to actually assist you. And if you want to give us a call,
011-290-5900. We are also on WhatsApp, but I must confess I don't know that number by heart, okay? But you come to the website and there's a button called Contact Us, and it takes you to WhatsApp. The reason why we have that, you're probably not having airtime, but you probably have WhatsApp data. So that we did that so that it's affordable. I mean, that's our bottom line. How can we meet you as a student where you're at? It's not a question how high can we set a bar, rather how can we meet you?
Well, Cynthia and Stefan, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best. Welcome back to Pitso on SABC Lehae. The class of 2023 just received their matric results, and now is the time to decide what to study after. Let's now explore one of the careers that most top achievers are mostly interested in, and that is actuarial science. To understand more about this, let's welcome Mahasa Tsiko, an actuarial science graduate. Tsiko, welcome to Pitso on SABC Lehae. You know, a lot of people talk about this field, actuarial sciences, and to be honest, at some point, I used to think I understood what it's all about, but it turns out I actually don't. Please tell me, what is actuarial science?
Yes, thank you for having me, and hi to the viewers. So, actuarial science it's a course about maths and statistics, where you use those particular subjects to quantify risk. So, for instance, if we're looking at someone who is looking for insurance, we need to understand their risk, what is their risk profile, and then we need to be able to quantify that for us to be able to determine how much premium should you pay. The same as if you're taking a mortgage or a personal loans product. If there's insurance on that product, then we need to be able to quantify your risk profile as to how much you should be paying for premium. So it's all about quantifying risk and determining how much money we need to pay if you are a specific risk profile. Yeah.
So let's talk about your journey. You know, when you did matric, you see a lot of young people, when they pass matric, they look at their matric certificate or results and feel that, you know what, I think I did well here, so I'm going to go for actuarial sciences. And you find that some of these learners or you know, people that pass matric don't really or know little about, you know, actuarial sciences, but they're just going to the program because they feel, well, they've passed well. But then later on, when they're inside, they don't do well. They fail because, you know, it's not something that they wanted to do. Let's talk about you. Is it something that you've always wanted to do? Hence, perhaps you also make sure that you passed?
Yes, I think for me, from grade 11, I knew that I wanted to do actuarial science, and particularly because I think my maths was good, but I felt I needed also to explore the finance side of it. So I think it does do a good job in combining the two fields. So I wanted to go ahead with my passion for mathematics, but also dive into finance. So I realized that with actuarial science, I would be able to combine the two, and it was the best fit for me in that regard. So I think what I can say is you need to be quite passionate about mathematics, but not only that, you need also to want to learn about business. I think that's important. Passion is important.
And for those that are now getting into the program, Actuarial Sciences, the class of 2023, what message do you have for them in terms of making sure that they balance and you know, get a qualification towards the end of the program? Yes,
I think for me, the biggest thing was to remain optimistic. I think it's a program that is surrounded by a lot of negative stories to say, someone came here, they didn't do so well. Someone did this and then they changed programs. But if you remain positive, because I mean the first few months might be not as great as you wanted, but remain optimistic to say, well, I'm here because I deserve to be here, and you work hard, and you even if things don't go too well at first, remain optimistic, work hard. I think everything will be fine. And another thing I think is you need to be very proactive, take account of your own education. So when you get to university, ask questions. I know it's hard for top achievers from high school to ask questions because we are used to, you know everything. But when you get there, you realize that, okay, you don't know as much. So you need to be very humble, ask questions, and realize very quickly when you don't understand. Don't try to figure things out on your own, spend too much time, and then at the end, you don't do so well. So keep asking questions and remain positive. I think for me, those two things took me through my university journey.
So let's talk about job opportunities. I know you've touched on you know, the field of mathematics and business, but perhaps just, you know, expand it for us. What are some of the opportunities that are available in actuarial science?
Yes, I think currently there are many opportunities. The first ones, of course, it's traditional life insurance and short-term insurance, so you can work in those fields. But I think it's now expanding to banking, investment. You can work in technology. I think anywhere where they need people with a background in data science, you can be able to go and use your skill there, because that's what it's about, data, using mathematics to be able to interpret data. So if you can be able you can use that skill in virtually most of the data related programs.
And then now, like, what message do you have for learners who are still in high school now, perhaps grade 10, because I don't think for you to get like a good mark, it starts at grade 12. I believe it starts from the foundation. What message do you have for them? And also maybe lastly, you can also tell us the requirements for one to be able to be absorbed in the program of actuarial science.
Yes, I think my message is work very hard. I think working hard is important. Develop a very strong work ethic from a young age, because that's a skill that if you have, I think it's expandable. So if you work very hard, you make sure you remain consistent in your working hard. Even when you go to university, it won't be a new thing to you. You're really used to working very hard, work long hours. So that's what I can say to them, work hard. And as for the requirements, I think primarily you need a distinction in mathematics. So that's a minimum requirement. So you need to aim as high as possible from that, because many people get those. Probably you need a higher mark, and also a distinction in English. It's a requirement. So you need to be good with your languages. I know some universities require physical sciences a distinction. So if you can, you should be able to get a distinction there. And also in your, for UCT, they require NBT scores. So when you write those NBT tests in your grade 11 or whenever you write them, make sure you do very well. And that will make sure that will ensure that you get into the program.
Mahasa Tshiko, thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best in your career. I believe when you come back here, you'll be maybe a Minister of Finance or something.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you.
That was Mahasa Tshiko, who is an actuarial scientist, or he works in the field of actuarial science, talking to us about this career, which, top achievers mostly in this country love to get into that. And his advice is to say, work hard and keep aiming high. For now, let's go to the break. When we come back, Pitso continues. Every Friday in our sports news, we bring you a great feature to pique your interest. Did you know?
On this week's edition of Sports Did You Know on Pitso, did you know that Len Taonyane and Jan Mashiane were the first African athletes to participate in the Olympic Games? These two South African men were track and field athletes and were part of the 1904 Summer Olympics marathon hosted in St. Louis, Missouri in the United States. At the time, it was the Second World War in South Africa. Taonyane, later shortened to Tau due to the difficulty of pronouncing his full last name, came ninth in the race, and Mashiane finished the race in 13th place, but was later upgraded to the 12th spot after the disqualification of American long-distance runner Frederick Laws, who was caught using an automobile during the race. Tau, or Taonyane's race, was hindered furthermore as they were reportedly chased for a mile by a pack of wild dogs. Durban-born Reggie Walker became the first African to win an Olympic gold medal in a 100-meter race in 1908 in the London Olympics. However, the Union of South Africa was only formed 2 years later in the 1910s. It took 56 years for the African continent to secure the first gold medal at the Olympic Games. It was in the 1960 Summer Olympics in Rome, Italy, ironically in a marathon. Born in Shewa, in the northern region of Ethiopia, Shambel Abebe Bakila became the first Ethiopian and first recognized African to become an Olympic gold medalist running bare feet. Ethiopia's Director Tulu was the first Ethiopian and African woman to win an Olympic gold medal in the year 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney, Australia. After being banned from the Olympics between 1964 and 1988 due to the country's apartheid regime and racial inequality, South Africa finally took part in the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, Spain, and brought home 2 silver medals. This year marks the 120th anniversary since the Africans participated for the first time in the Olympic Games. That was this week's Sports Did You Know on Pitso. I am Sia Solani.
Well, thank you, Sia Selani. We didn't know. That is all from me and the Pitso team. Have a great weekend.